have some very exciting Sims news for you because The Sims 4 is getting a pretty cool base game update today. This is one of those things that people have been asking for years and years, even like since previous Sims games, and we've never actually gotten it officially added by the Sims team before. Over the years, there's been tons of different mods and custom content for it, but we've never officially had it added to the game until today. So let me just catch you up to speed real quick. Yesterday, the Sims team posted this little teeny tiny teaser video on Twitter, like the smallest little thing, but it said, okay, tune in tomorrow at 10 a.m. Pacific time for a very special Sims Delivery Express. And it said free update coming soon, February 13th. And all we can see is this Sim's legs, but obviously we can tell here that this Sim, it looks like, has vitiligo. And now that update has actually come out, so we can head into game and check it out. But even better, they collabed with a celebrity on this. You might know Winnie Harlow. She's an absolutely stunning, amazing, like iconic supermodel. Turns out, apparently, she's also a huge Simmer. She used to play The Sims a ton when she was a kid. I just get kind of starstruck when I think about like celebrities playing The Sims. I think that's so cool. I haven't watched this video yet, so I thought we could watch this together first, and then we could go check out in game and see what we've got added. The house looks really good too, by the way.
So y'all, wagwan. I'm Winnie Harlow. Welcome to my home in The Sims 4. Get ready with me in one of my favorite
I'm so excited.
the glam room. My favorite part of creating my Sim is the new Vitiligo update. It would have been so major to see a Sim that looked like me as a little girl, giving true representation to what my skin looks like IRL. Today, I'm going for a cozy but glam look.
This is cool.
Okay, yes! Bop, bop, bop. The vibe of my Sims house is def a more modern LA style. Or Gina, a little Papa Island vibe. You know I had to spark inspiration for a dream add-on. So like, how cute is this spa?
Spa Day is a nice pack.
All right, y'all. I hope you enjoy checking out my fantasy world. Explore endless possibilities with the
I love
free
all the
Vitiligo
photos.
update and my favorite packs in The Sims 4. Toodles! Bye!
Wow. Okay, first of all, props to the team who made this house because it looks really good. I always love seeing what they build for these trailers because it's pretty cool how they try to incorporate, like, they basically did a fashion photo shoot with the Sim of Winnie Harlow. Like, on this wall, the giant photograph layered with the mirror, that looks so good. Like, that's so cool. I'm sorry, the house is not about the update. The house is, like, completely unrelated. I just get kind of excited about it. I think it's fun that they had her do an actual video and, like, talk to us about it. I know it was short. They did also actually post a blog post, so we can read this too. But there's something really quite powerful about working with real life artists and real life celebrities in this case to do these sorts of things. And like she mentioned, how cool would it have been for her to have this skin detail update then when she was younger as a kid? Representation is really, really powerful, and people play The Sims to represent life, and they want to make themselves accurately in the game, so it's a really big deal when they do updates like this. It might seem like a small thing, like, oh, it's just a skin detail, but really it's a huge, huge, huge deal. In general, the Sims team has been pushing a lot to make a lot more skin details this year. We got things like stretch marks, we had top surgery scars, we got some various birthmarks, some more moles and freckles, stuff like that. So this is like a logical next step. I think we all were kind of hoping to see this sooner because we first got the birthmarks in Growing Together last year in like March. So I don't know about you, but I was kind of expecting to see vitiligo in an update like right after that, and obviously now it's been like a year, but I'm not mad. At least we have it now. So in this blog post, I'll link the whole thing down below if you want to read it, but I'm just gonna walk through the big stuff they're talking about. Oh, this is funny. I just said this, but they're saying it too. Skin details are an important area of focus for the dev team as we remain committed to expanding representation in The Sims 4. Birthmarks, stretch marks, scars, and freckles have empowered our players to tell diverse and authentic stories, and today's update continues with these efforts. We have known for a while that we wanted to add vitiligo to the game, and we spent a lot of time learning about it and considering how to authentically provide it to players. I really appreciate that they do that. Like, it takes time because they put a lot of effort and research into this. You can't just like slap it together because then it won't be done right. It needs to be done well. So when it comes to vitiligo in The Sims, they want to provide a range of patterns showing different levels of coverage and symmetry. In their research, they found that depigmentation may have clear edges and some edges may be darker and irregular. Affected skin can absolutely be white, or it can be pink or varying shades lighter than surrounding skin. And since vitiligo affects people of all ethnicities and skin types, they tried to intentionally create assets that work with a Sim's skin tone. So as you cycle through the shades and change from warm to neutral to cool, the color of your Sim's vitiligo will adjust to change with their skin color. I appreciate that they did that. This way it works for everybody on like a diverse range of skin types. So vitiligo can begin to appear early in infancy, and as you age, it can expand and change. So they wanted to give it to all ages, from infants to elder Sims. And interestingly, they noticed that the patterns would warp if they just converted them across different frames for Sims. So they actually made all the different variants to stay consistent across body types. What they're talking about when they say that, you know how like when you put a pair of shorts that are designed for a masculine frame sim on a feminine frame sim, there's like weird gaping, there's like some weird triangles that happen, like the clothing doesn't fit both frames correctly. It almost looks like it's glitching a little bit depending on the outfit. That would have happened here too if they just took the skin detail and then applied it across all the body types. It would just not fit right, basically. So what they're saying is they made all of the variants across all ages, across all frames, so they would work appropriately, which is what you would expect and hope for, but they don't always do that because it's a ton of extra work. In all, their artists made 61 vitiligo variants across all ages for this first release, which is really interesting, the clarification of first release. And they even mention our team of developers dedicated to the Sims 4 base game is beyond grateful for the talent and time provided to us by the artists and their dedication to the quality of every asset they create. I think that's really nice to point that out. I mean, the team that worked on this must have worked very hard for a very long time. I haven't even seen it in game yet. I'm just reading the thing, but I'm excited about it. So they've made new assets for both the face and body categories, and it sounds like you pick them for your face, upper torso, lower torso, arms, and legs all separately, and all ages have the same pieces, so you can have them stay the same as they age or like change them over time. And the Sims 4 team is partnering with supermodel and beauty entrepreneur Winnie Harlow to introduce this new update. Winnie, who was an avid Sims player during her youth, is excited to share styling and interior design inspiration with players through an original content piece that shows a Simified version of the fashion model's Hollywood home. How cool that they built her real life house for this. You can also download her house from the gallery or play with the sim. You can get her off the gallery too. It's magical to see The Sims 4 introduce this new vitiligo feature. When he said, as a child, I spent a lot of time playing The Sims, and I think it's so beautiful to be able to represent your true self in game. This partnership is a powerful statement encouraging players to embrace what makes them unique, both in game and in real life. I'm so glad that they did this. Oh, they even have an FAQ at the end. Okay, so can I choose the color? They said not quite, because it sounds like it adjusts based on your Sim's skin tone. I'll test this in game to show you kind of how it works. You can obviously add, change, remove at any time any of these skin details, just like any other skin detail. Can the shape of the Sim's pattern change based on their body? Yes, skin details will adjust some depending on where you stretch or move their skin or body parts. They described it like if you widen your Sim's nose, the patch of vitiligo across it will change with it. There are no gameplay effects. It's just like any other skin detail, so that's not really a surprise. Vitiligo can layer with other skin details. So you can layer it with all face and body details except the birthmarks that come from growing together. So you can use like tattoos and body hair. I assume you can use like scars and stuff with it too, but we'll test that as well. Why can't vitiligo layer with birthmarks? Because it uses the same tech as birthmarks, so it acts the same way, and you can't layer multiple birthmarks, so you can't layer birthmarks and vitiligo. I understand that limitation. It's kind of sad always, but it makes sense to me. Interestingly, they also ask, will vitiligo affect my Sim's body hair color? And they say no, but they hope to address the ability of vitiligo to affect hair color in the future, but at this time it only applies to skin. That is really, really cool. I'm actually surprised that they're even addressing that or like talking about it in the slightest. I'm gonna really quickly close and reopen the game to see if we can get the SDX drop to actually load, and then we can test it out in cast. The weird part about SDX drops is you have to like reload the game twice. It's kind of strange. Normally you get a pop-up saying there is an SDX drop, but I didn't get one. So I think I have to open the game, see the pop-up, and then say reload the game to install the content, which is just kind of strange. The SDX drops are like mini updates. It's a way to push new content without there being an actual giant patch for the game, so they just work kind of weird. We haven't had an SDX drop in kind of a while, so it's kind of exciting. I've got no pop-up. Let me see if it's in cast. I'm not sure why it's not working. You are liars. They said the Winnie Harlow sim would be on the gallery and the house would be too, but I don't see it. I'll be waiting. I'm gonna keep checking. Okay, so as it turns out, it is installed. The SDX drop did install itself, and I just didn't notice. So false alarm, everybody. There are no problems. It is literally right there. Okay, let's take a look at all these things, though. I'm actually kind of curious to count. So I'm seeing 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, at least 16 new assets, but also all of these things, a couple of them have different swatches. So there's more than 16 new assets total, if you count those. And that's just for the body. There should also be face ones as well. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Oh my gosh, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Wow. There's actually a lot more assets than I was expecting them to make. I'll say this, after having like barely even touched this update, I just installed it. I've not even looked yet really. I think that there's a lot more time and care put into this than I was expecting. And maybe that's just me being a little bit cynical, but I guess I didn't anticipate that there would be this much effort and variation and like research put into this. And that's not to say that I don't think there should be. Like, I really would hope that they would do that, and I sort of expect them to do that. But at the same time, if they hadn't done that, I'd be like, well, of course they didn't. I want to say that I'm not surprised because they have really been showing a lot of care into the skin details they're making recently, but I am still a little bit surprised that there's so many variants, and I'm pleasantly surprised. I'm like really glad that they did this. I made a sim real quick just so we can test this out a little bit better. I want to look through all of the swatches separately. So this is kind of what they were talking about in that article about how a few of these have multiple swatches because you can maybe have the patches change over time. And there's quite a bit of variety as well. There's some that are smaller, there's some that are bigger, and you can kind of layer these. So you can pick one for your sim's back, you can pick one for your sim's chest. So you couldn't have like this one and this one at the same time. But as long as the like location placement is different, then you can pick more than one. Does that make sense? It's just like how the tattoos or any other skin detail works in game. They function kind of the same way. They obviously look and are very different, but the function is the same. And these are those birthmarks they were talking about. So you can't have the vitiligo and the birthmark layered because the game thinks they are the same thing. They obviously are not the same thing, but the game is the game. So there's only so much that you can do. Then you can obviously pick the arms separately as well too. You can pick the leg swatches separately as well. And then of course you can also pick all of the face skin details separately too. I'm pretty sure you can only have one on their face, so you can't layer these at all. It's just you pick one of them. But there are quite a few different variants, so you can see like these two separately, but there also is a swatch that has them combined. So kind of going back to that FAQ page, you can't layer it, but they did kind of layer them for you a little bit, which helps. This is actually a good example here too of the hair question they brought up. You can kind of see the lack of pigmentation on this sim's lip a little bit right there in the corner, and in real life it would affect the eyebrow as well too. It does not affect their eyebrow right now, but they even mentioned working on a way to see if they can fix that, which I'm really impressed by. Like, I would never expect the Sims to be able to pull that off. Again, sorry if I'm sounding kind of cynical, but I guess I just didn't expect that level of attention to detail, and I also just kind of assumed that it wouldn't be possible with how The Sims 4 works, and I mean, it isn't. That's why it doesn't happen like that. But I do appreciate them mentioning that and like getting ahead of this obvious problem that their update has. I guess I'm just glad they acknowledged it and like answered our questions straight off the bat with that one. Yeah, wow. I'm really impressed by this update. I want to show you kind of what they were talking about with the skin changing. So there's not like swatches of the vitiligo. You can't change the color of this yourself, but you can see how it appears slightly differently on different skin tones. It gets a little bit warmer, it gets a little bit cooler toned. It's very subtle, the adjustments, but that's kind of what they were talking about. Wow, I just feel like this was extremely well done. I'm really grateful to them that they did this and put all of this care into it. It really feels like they're hearing the feedback from the community on these things too. They've been stepping it up so much in terms of representation, specifically in regards to the skin details. Just in the last year, we got all of this. This is all new in the last year. We didn't have any of these things before. Things like these stretch marks, the birthmarks, none of this existed up until very recently. Oh, and by the way, you can layer the stretch marks with the vitiligo. We wanted to test that. I kind of forgot. The stretch marks all do layer on top of this. I'm really glad about that too. I'm like kind of relieved to see that. All of the body scars will layer on top of the vitiligo too, so you can use all of those things in combination with each other. But what I mean when I say it feels like they're really listening to us is we've been asking for all of this stuff for so long, and like all of a sudden we're getting a ton of it. It's like something changed and they've really flipped to trying to prioritize this. And we talk a lot about how powerful collaboration is, especially in regards to this sort of thing. Working with like real life designers singers, real life artists, real life celebrities like Winnie Harlow. It's really powerful in terms of like accurate representation, but it's also, I think, really cool to hear from a person like that and hear about their experiences. I know I kind of like fangirled a bit when I learned that she played The Sims, but to me, that's just so cool. I really love that they did that. And like Winnie was mentioning, it's so powerful to see this stuff actually in the game and for people to be able to make themselves accurately in The Sims. And that goes in many ways with like all forms of representation, but it's really great to see them doing this and prioritizing this. I'm sorry, I keep repeating myself. I'm just really excited. I did see some people on Twitter talking about how like, oh, we don't need this. We already have CC of this. So I think it's maybe good to address that real quick in case you feel that way. I could not disagree more about that for a couple of reasons. I mean, first and foremost, yes, there is Vitiligo CC out there, and that's fantastic. Like, that's great to have, but not everybody can have CC. Maybe you're playing on console. There's no mods on console. Maybe you just don't know how to get CC. Maybe you don't want to get CC. Maybe your computer can't handle CC. There's a million reasons that players wouldn't have access to that. And if you do have access to that, well, I think that's great because that CC is different than what we have in the game now. So you've just got more options. But probably the bigger reason is that truthfully, it doesn't really matter that CC exists in this case because the power comes from the game, the official game making this representation. I've said it before, I'll say it a million times, but it's really important that people can see themselves in The Sims, and the Sims team being the ones to officially make and provide people with these tools and incorporate it into the game is really, really powerful. So just thank you. Thank you to the Sims team. I'm really grateful for all of the work that you've done this year to make more stuff like this, and I hope that you keep doing it. I'm really lucky to be in the position that I am and to have the community that I have because I get to see and hear from people firsthand about how important this kind of stuff is to them. To give an example, last year we got that medical wearables update and we got these hearing aids added to the game along with some things like glucose monitors and some stuff like that. And this seems like it might be something small. In reality, it's just a couple of assets in game, but it's not small. It's a huge deal. There are so many people that wear hearing aids that all of a sudden can actually make their sim look like them. This is the kind of thing that will like bring people to tears when their sim can like finally be like them in real life. And obviously we've got a long way to go. There's a ton more stuff that they could add into CAS to do a better job, but we've been making some pretty big strides this year and I'm just really grateful. So I'll stop going on and getting kind of sappy, but thank you to the Sims team. This update is extremely cool. Yesterday when they teased this update, I was in the middle of recording my Legacy Challenge episode and we were like, oh my god, I wish we had this right now because my sim aged up and I wanted to give him a makeover in CAS. And I told everyone I was gonna go back into CAS and give vitiligo to my sim May who just aged up, and so I want to do that now really quickly. If you haven't seen these Sims before, this is my Legacy Challenge save. I've played like, oh my god, 12 generations of this Let's Play on my YouTube channel, so if you want to watch it, I can link the playlist for you down below. And this is my sim May who just aged up into a teen. This is making me wish that we had this update like a long time ago, but now that we have it, I am absolutely 100% going to be using it. This is just really cool. So again, thank you to the Sims team for this one. Everybody, the update is out now, so if you have The Sims 4, make sure you get that SDX drop installed. It installed itself on my game, so you probably already have it, but go check it out in CAS. Let me know what you think. If you liked this video, I try to make stuff like this whenever there's any sort of Sims news. We're always talking about new updates and new pack content, so make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss the next one. Thank you for watching, and I'm gonna catch you all tomorrow. Okay, bye everybody. I know I've said it so many times today, but I am so grateful that they've been prioritizing stuff like this recently. It makes such a huge difference for so many people, and I'm so glad.